Warning, heavy spoilers for movie 4 of My Hero Academia. I just finished watching this movie in the cinemas, and let me talk about the good. I really liked the whole relationship dynamic between Giulio and Anna and what he had to do to quote unquote protect her. When we're introduced to this dude, we don't understand why he has to take her out like some sort of assassin, but when you find out why, it's actually pretty emotional, and I got really sad watching it. Anna's quirk is a double-edged sword. While it can enhance one's abilities, for some, it will give you unimaginable pain. And Giulio's quirk is sort of the opposite, where it neutralizes one's quirk for a short amount of time. So I quite liked how these two characters had quirks on the opposite side of the spectrum. One can increase one's quirk and the other can decrease one's quirk, which is why he was hired by her family to look after her and to try and neutralize her quirk whenever needed. And the promise the two of them made for her to allow Giulio to execute her was pretty emotional. This dude saw this girl grow up in front of his eyes, so for him to do something so unfortunate must have put a huge toll on him. Poor dude. OMG BBG, towards the end when Anna's quirk goes berserk, with Giulio neutralizing her for one final time, actually permanently neutralizing her quirk, he no longer has any need to be by her side anymore, and he just walks away, and Anna is like, no, I still want to be with you, we can be equals. Now some people can see that as corny love and pretty cringy, but I got a wee bit emotional seeing that scene. Honestly, if the movie was entirely about these two people, I wouldn't have minded not seeing the UA students, because Anna and Giulio are the heart of this movie. The visual effects in this movie were honestly stunning, possibly the best movie when it came to visual effects. Mainly whenever Anna or the villain's quirks were activated, I noticed how the special effects looked phenomenal. Colorful, crisp, vibrant. I really love the art and animation in this movie. I feel like this movie possibly has some of the best art in any of the My Hero movies. There are many shots that look absolutely fantastic. The first act where the UA students are tracking down the jailbreakers. I love the way the sunset is drawn and painted, and the clouds through most of the movie don't look anything like the main TV show clouds. They have more texture, elegance, and are just overly better drawn in the movie version. The final fight, OMG BBG guys, those sequences looked absolutely fantastic, with Shoto skating around using his ice powers, and the big three, Shoto, Bakugo, and Deku all teaming up to take down Dark Might and his subordinates looked absolutely amazing. But was it too amazing? In terms of the mixed aspects, I do feel like while the animation scenes were really amazing, I won't lie, I felt overwhelmed during the Bakugo and Shoto scenes. My brain sort of switched off in that moment, and for a few seconds I had no idea what was happening. The animation was amazing, don't get me wrong, with Shoto skating around, with the dynamic camera angles and shots. It just felt like, whoa, so much is really happening all at once. But that is a small nitpick. Another nitpick that I have is that why weren't Giulio and Anna introduced into the main manga canon? I feel like their powers would have been vital in the battle against Shigaraki and All For One. Giulio could have easily neutralized any of the villains' quirks while they were battling them, and Anna could have amplified some quirks for some of the heroes who were compatible with her. But let's talk about the bad, Dark Might. I will admit that I did like the scene of All Might pointing to the camera and saying, you are next, it's your turn, and Dark Might being influenced by All Might, feeling like he can make a change and be the next generation's hero. That whole concept was a very interesting insight into how heroes and their actions could inspire others to do the wrong things. Dark Might took All Might's ideals and twisted them into his evil schemes and became a villain. I like that. However, I truly feel like the way he was written into the story wasn't that well written. I was expecting him to, for the first 15 or 20 minutes of the movie, to be shown as this hero, and everyone was really impressed that a new All Might Might came to save the day, and then halfway into the movie we find out that he's evil or something like that. But no, he just pretty much shows the world that he's evil and he's gonna do bad things. I just wasn't really feeling or vibing with that story arc. All of his henchmen were incredibly forgettable, and this might be a hot take, but this movie just feels like filler to me. I know it takes place between season 6 and 7, just before the Shigaraki and All For One clash, but I just feel like the story had no weight to it. It felt very empty and hollow at times. Apart from the scenes of Anna and Julio, their flashbacks and all of their scenes together, as well as the epic animation and art, this movie just felt a little bit underwhelming to me. Another issue in the dream sequence when all the UA students were knocked out, I was expecting Deku's father to show up in that dream sequence, just like with Shoto's dream when you see Toya playing with the hellish Todoroki family. But Deku dreams of All Might and being this young, bright-eyed kid. I just felt like, really, that's what you still dream about, dude? I just imagined that after everything Deku has seen and done, especially getting to know Shoto, I would have thought that, hey, maybe dream of world peace, maybe dream of a world where Shigaraki is a normal kid, or maybe dream of world peace, because dreaming of All Might saving the day and you being a child and you still being rescued by him does still seem quite childish of him. I wouldn't have minded if this was season 1 Deku, but we're on season 7 Deku. Maybe instead of dreaming about All Might, you can be the hero. Maybe dream about you being this hero saving the day and helping out young kids, being the hero that you always wanted to be, instead of still dreaming of a hero who is already retired, dude. The way this movie is released is going to confuse a lot of the Western audiences who have just completed season 7 and are now hopping onto this new movie. This movie was initially released in Japan in August of 2023 and should have been set between episodes 5 and 6, but some people have said that this movie should have been taking place directly after season 6 and just before season 7. I feel like for those that like to watch things in chronological order, it will be a little bit of a headache going back and forth in the timelines. I think another thing that I hate about this movie is that it has such good art and animation. Not to discredit season 7 because it was phenomenal, but if they had put this style of art and animation into that season as well, my gosh, I can't help but to wonder what if season 7 had this level of attention and detail put into it, even though season 7 was already amazing. I just feel like we are past the point of making these filler films. Why not just make certain canon arcs into films like Demon Slayer and JJK? I feel like that is money worth spent and more people will tune in and watch the movies. And of course you can recap those movies into the TV shows like you did for Demon Slayer. It's just that I just felt like I was wasting my time watching this movie because I knew that at the end of the day it has no impact in the main story and it's just a fun little side adventure. I still feel like the best My Hero Academia movie is without a doubt the first movie. It had the best plot, best villain, and overall best experience. All the other movies just felt okay to me, but it is better than the third movie without a doubt. Despite all that, I am pleased to say that this movie is doing so well at the box office that it might actually be the highest grossing My Hero film of all time. I mean, with that money in the Bones bag, could they do another film? I still feel like they should have done the final arc as a movie. That would have been epic and awesome. Maybe they'll do that. Who knows? Only Studio Bones knows. Overall, this movie is a 6 out of 10 and a C+. Tell me in the comments down below, what did you guys think of this movie? Do you like it or do you hate it? Tell me. Like this video, subscribe for more My Hero Academia reviews, as well as other anime videos, news updates, comparisons, breakdowns, rankings, and more. But thank you for watching, and as always, a boy dude review signing out.